Samantha Azira here. Let's admit it, game prices are getting out of control. So I decided to take 10 games out of my collection that I know are worth some money. So let's go ahead and get started. Panzer Dragoon. On the Sega Saturn, released in 1995. Well known as a rail shooter on dragons, follows the story of Kai, or Kel, or I don't know, a member of a hunting party who witnesses a fight between two dragons, resulting in an injury of one of the dragon riders, making it so it is now your mission and dragon to stop the Dark Dragon. Unfortunately, I haven't tried this one, guys. Panzer Dragoon 2. Also on the Sega Saturn, this game was released only a year later, serving as a prequel to the Panzer Dragoon game. Similar playstyle, however this one has a berserk ability, where the player can build up a bar and unleash a powerful attack. These games are going up in prices, guys, it's totally insane, and I need to play these games before my Sega Saturn's laser craps out. Gotcha Force. Probably the most expensive game in my collection. Considered a third-party action game, this outrageously priced game is an anime-type style game where you get to control a robot with the main objective to button mash your way through the enemies. You have access to a gun, melee, or power-ups depending on the robot that you're using. The main plot is the Earth is being attacked by gotcha Borgs called the Death Force, which can result in many battles that can feel repetitive. Pokemon Colosseum. You play as a character working for Team Snag'em. As you bust out with the most important technology they have in their possession, you meet a girl who can identify shadow Pokemon throughout your journey. Throughout the game, the only Pokemon you can catch are shadow Pokemon, and the goal? Catch them all, purify their hearts, and defeat Team Cypher, and some other people along the way. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. The successor to Pokemon Colosseum, starting 5 years after the events of the previous game. This game has similar concepts with shadow Pokemon and purifying Pokemon as the main function of the game. Team Cypher is creating trouble again, creating and distributing shadow Pokemon for their own evil purposes. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Player's choice. This might be the most popular Paper Mario game I'm aware of. The second Paper Mario to be released following one of my all-time favorite Nintendo 64 games, released for the GameCube in 2004, revolves around the one and only Mario, whose goal is to collect the crystal stars to open the Thousand-Year Door because once again, Peach has been kidnapped. I have yet to play this title, but it's on my short list of games to play, as I recently got it in my collection within the last year. Parasite Eve. An action role-playing horror game following a New York City police officer over a 6-day span in 1997. The main goal is to stop Eve, who is a woman who plans to destroy mankind through spontaneous human combustion. With the real-time combat system and role-playing element, this game quickly gained a cult following. Just added this one to the collection, so please let me know if this is something you would like me to play around Halloween. Parasite Eve 2. The sequel was sitting right next to the first one while purchasing these games, and I would not leave it behind. Parasite Eve 2 is another action role-playing horror game set several years after the events in the original game. Another outbreak has occurred, and it's once again your job to stop it. Once again, if this is a Halloween recommendation, please let me know. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Collector's Edition. This gold edition I originally thought was a Toys R Us exclusive, but some articles are saying it's actually a pre-order cartridge. Not much to say in the story. A creepy dude takes a little girl for a long time as you jump through time, messing with chickens and selling masks to grown men. I think most of you know the plot of the story here, guys. Gandalf is trying to get the Triforce, human beings are part of the Triforce, you save people, and you're a mute who can only say one thing. Diablo. The first game in a very popular series was also released for the PlayStation 1. Diablo is following the storyline of a war between the high heavens and burning hell. an action role-playing game centered around the town of Tristram? I don't know, guys. You, playing the protagonist, fall into the task of going through 16 dungeon levels to end up in hell to take on Diablo himself. Now, obviously, Diablo 2 is a much more popular game. However, Diablo 1 on PS1 is fetching a decent price, honestly not as high as I remember. So this stack of games, if I sold it for what price charting is listing them for, I would make $1,624.65. For this total, I used the loose price for the Diablo PS1 edition. Game prices are getting so insane, and I'm curious if I were to revisit the prices of these games in, let's say, 1 to 5 years, are they going to change dramatically? Or did we finally hit a plateau? Or will people finally lose interest and we, the game collectors, can finally start snatching up games without having to sell a freaking kidney? So those are some of my valuable games. This is not a flex, I'm just doing this to kind of figure out what's going on with prices. I'd like to compare this list maybe in 1, 2, or 3 years to see if the prices changed dramatically. Let me know down below if you guys have any games in your collection that have shot up in price, or if you're looking for any games that you want in your collection that are just too out of control that you'll probably never get it. But thank you so much for watching.